Part 38. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 371. There was silence in the conference room. Lu Ligan shook his head and said, "Why is this so funny? The incident started because the workers were deducted from their wages, but the legal person of Panchi Company, which pays wages, said that it was not his decision. So I am curious, who is deciding the wages of Panchi Company? Distribute. It's me." As soon as Xiao Su spoke, he immediately realized that he had answered the question wrong. He changed his words and said, "I found out that they falsely reported the project quantity." "Did you find it? Then tell me, how is the quantity of putty work calculated, how is the quantity of suspended ceiling work calculated, and the tiles in the upstairs guest bathroom and the restaurant kitchen floor tiles are calculated in the same way?" "The same." Lu Ligan looked at Xiao Su and asked. Xiao Su was speechless by the question. "You don't know at all, do you?" "I don't know either. I am also a layman. To be honest, even if someone makes a false report, I can't tell." "How did you tell?" Lu Ligan then asked. If it weren't for the gauze wrapped around his face, Xiao Su's face must have been red at the moment. He held it in for a long time and finally said, "I just know it, I can feel it." "Can you feel it?" "Are you talking nonsense?" Lu Ligan scolded. "The amount of work was done by workers who got up early and worked in the dark, bit by bit. If you can feel it, then you have to do it. If you deduct 10% of their salary, they have worked here for 10 months, which means that they have worked here for nothing. Who can be convinced? Are you not provoking trouble?" Xiao Su also got angry and cursed. "Who are you? Are you qualified to teach people here?" Lu Ligan looked at him and said, "Whether I am qualified or not is not decided by you, but by the workers. They believe in me and let me represent them. If they believed in you, this matter would not have happened today. Now that I'm qualified, I'm curious, are those workers from Panchi Company or Wang Heilu workers?" When Lu Ligan said this, he looked at the leaders of the district government and Mr. Fu, and he continued, "I would like to ask Mr. Fu, is this a conflict between the workers and Wang Heilu today? Is it because Wang Heilu wants to deduct workers' wages? How can this be our business? As the owner, we are just here to coordinate," Mr. Fu said. "Okay, Mr. Lin, is he from your Panchi Company?" Lu Li pointed at Xiao Su and asked Xiao Lin. Xiao Lin shook his head. Lu Ligan then asked Xiao Su, "Mr. Fu has just stated that this matter has nothing to do with Wanghai Tower. Mr. Lin also said that you are not from Panchi Company, so tell me, who are you? What qualifications do you have to run Panchi Company? Are you going to deduct the wages of so many workers? Aren't you deliberately creating conflicts? To be honest, if I were a worker, I would beat you up." Xiao Su glared at Lu Ligan, who met his gaze and said, "There are more than 100 workers down there, that is, more than 100 families. Their families are waiting for this money to send back to celebrate the new year, renovate their houses, treat the elderly, and maybe their children are also waiting for this money to pay for next semester's education. Tuition fees, damn it, if you go and deduct 10%, are you still a human being? Don't be dissatisfied, I'll wait for you if you don't. Hey, everyone, let's have a meeting," the leader of the district government called with his hands on the table. Lu Ligan looked at him and said, "Leader, today's matter makes no sense no matter where you put it. Anyone who hears it will be dissatisfied. Things are still under control now. I am not afraid that the world will not be chaotic in another half day or another, but it's hard to say. What will happen? The workers all have families, as well as relatives, friends, and fellow villagers. If they go back today and talk about it, everyone will feel that this is too bullying. Then the people who come tomorrow may not be the more than 100, but maybe more than 1,000. There are thousands of them. This unreasonable deduction of wages from migrant workers cannot be justified anywhere. The leader was shocked when he heard this. He looked at the policeman, who nodded slightly. The leader asked Lu Ligan, "Xiao Lu, what do the workers want now?" "The workers don't have any more demands. They only ask for two things. One is to give them the money they deserve, and they don't ask for any extra money. I think it's very reasonable." "Yes, yes," the leader nodded. "Also, retaliation is not allowed. They may have been a little harsher before, but after all, they did not initiate the incident. The fault is not theirs. They asked for it. They cannot be held accountable." The leader looked at the police again, and the police said, "This may depend on 2 points. One is whether the victim, that is, Xiao Su, wants to hold the other party accountable, and the other is waiting for the injury assessment." As he was talking, a policeman came in from outside and whispered something into his ear. When he heard this, his expression changed. The district leader asked, "What's wrong?" "When the workers wanted to go out, they threw away everything they had. If they wanted to go out, we had no reason to stop them. They said they were going to the provincial government to report the situation." Lu Ligan saw that whether it was the district government leader or Mr. Fu, his face turned pale instantly. Lu Ligan also made it clear just now that if so many people really want to go to the provincial government, it would be no small matter, especially it's Mr. Fu. If this matter gets out of hand and the top really digs deep, I don't know how much mud will be brought out. The leader of the district government said to Lu Ligan, "Xiao Lu, go down quickly, persuade them to calm down, and tell them that we are still coordinating and solving the problem." Lu Lipol sat still. Mr. Fu slapped the table, pointed at Xiao Su and cursed, "Forget it, I'll hold you accountable and examine your injuries. Just pretend that you fell downstairs." Mr. Fu then pointed at Xiaolin and shouted, "And you, give me the original salary and bonus today." Lu Ligan looked at the district government leaders and the public security officer. They all nodded. Lu Ligan stood up and said, "Then I'll go down first to appease the workers and come back later. Since it's a coordination meeting, we must have a meeting to make a resolution." "Okay, Xiao Lu, I'll arrange it, you go quickly," the leader said to Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan went downstairs, comforted the workers, and asked them to retreat to the work shed, warehouse and training hall. Lu Ligan told Cao Kuoking and others the results of the coordination above. Everyone was very happy. Lu Ligan told them, "Wait until I go up, see that there are no problems with the meeting resolution, sign it and bring it down, then this matter is over." Lu Ligan walked forward. Ah Zheng came over and asked what was going on. Lu Ligan told him roughly. Ah Zheng cursed, "Xiao Su, a bitch, deserves to be beaten. Even Mr. Fu is worried about the deduction of wages. I don't know, this guy is totally on his own." Lu Ligan smiled, not knowing whether what Ah Zheng said was true or false. Lu Ligan returned upstairs. The minutes of the meeting had been written. Lu Ligan saw that there were no problems, so he signed the minutes on behalf of the workers, Mr. Fu and Xiaolin as the 3 parties, and the district government and the Public Security Bureau signed the minutes. As the host coordinator, also signed respectively. When Lu Ligan stood up and was about to go downstairs, the leader of the district government held his hand and asked, "Xiao Lu, are you from Jinghai International Financial Center?" Lu Ligan smiled and said, "That's right, that's our project. Leaders are welcome to take time out of their busy schedules to come and provide guidance." "Haha, I just said why he looks so familiar, and he is still young and promising." Lu Ligan quickly said that he did not dare to take it or not. Mr. Fu asked Lu Ligan, the leaders of the district government, and the police officer to sit in his office. He said they didn't know each other without fighting. "I heard that your building is also a hotel upstairs?" Lu Ligan said yes, the 18th floor on top is the Hilton Hotel. Mr. Fu smiled and said, "From now on we will be brothers." Lu Ligan cursed in his heart, you, At most it's your work unit, who is your brother. However, he smiled and said humbly, I am a junior, how dare I be compared with Mr. Fu? Your building is tall, but you are the tallest in Heiken. The policeman said, and everyone laughed. Lu Ligan chatted with them for a while, stood up and said goodbye, telling them that he wanted to go down and take a look in case there were any other workers who couldn't change their minds at once. When Lu Ligan arrived below, the crowd at the entrance of Wanghai Mall had dispersed. Lu Ligan walked to the back and saw Wu Ziyawai's car parked in the open space. Xiaolin and a little girl from Wang Heilu's finance department were in the office. To pay everyone, there were 2 security guards standing at the door, letting people in one by one, and there was a long queue outside the door. Lu Ligan saw Cao Kuaking also lined up in the middle of the team and asked him, have you found a new construction site? Cao Kuaking said he had found it. Where to live? If you have no place to live, stay with me. Cao Kuaking said that he shared a room with a fellow villager. Well, you go to the front and collect your salary first. I'll take you home. Don't stay here too long. Lu Ligan told Cao Kuaking that Cao Kuaking understood. He walked to the front of the line, and the people in line immediately gave up their seats to him. Lu Ligan stood there, waiting for Cao Kuaking to receive the money, and then got into Wu Ziyawai's car with him. Wu Ziyawai's car drove out of the gate of Wuzishan Road. Lu Ligan saw in the rearview mirror that Ah Zheng was waving. Called back the 2 men who were riding motorcycles and were about to follow them. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 372. By November 1991, the opinions on comprehensive reform of the urban housing system that Lu Ligan and the others had been waiting for were finally issued by the General Office of the State Council. This is a programmatic document for the reform of my country's urban housing system. It clarifies the guiding ideology and fundamental purpose of the reform of the urban housing system. It marks that the reform of the urban housing system has entered a new stage of comprehensive promotion and comprehensive supporting reform from the exploration and pilot stage. The national real estate industry has thus entered a slippery slope and taken off. Lu Ligan went to Xiao Zanbo of the Industrial and Commercial Bureau every now and then. Lu Ligan was now a celebrity. When Xiao Zanbo saw him, he would no longer behave like a big brother towards his younger brother. Instead, he would have a kind of intimacy and flattery, which made Lu Ligan feel very good. Uncomfortable. He saw a sudden increase in the number of newly applied for business licenses, the largest number of which were from real estate companies. Xiao Zanbo alone was already too busy. Opposite him, another staff member was added. Not only him, Lu Ligan saw after arriving, other offices have also added staff. Lu Ligan did not go to Lao Ma's office at the top to take a look. He cursed in his heart that in this industrial and commercial bureau, the most important person to add is the section chief, and the most important thing to improve efficiency is Lao Ma's office. Lao Ma's happy family is probably very busy every day and every meal. The logistics speed of moving the tobacco and wine from his nephew's small shop will probably be very fast, and Lao Ma's speed of changing women will probably be even faster. Damn it, Lu Ligan felt sick when he thought about this. Lu Ligan felt that not only had the wind picked up, but that the wind was blowing against his face, getting stronger and stronger, making people feel excited. This feeling was even worse for Meng Ping. Lu Ligan was now talking to Meng Ping on the phone. I could feel Meng Ping's voice on the phone, jumping and jumping, like 10,000 deer bumping into each other. Lu Ligan and his team held a grand groundbreaking ceremony for their project, and soon after they broke ground, Lu Ligan immediately became very busy. He received many calls every day, all of whom were introduced through various connections. There are people talking about cooperation and business, and there are even many people who want to buy off the plan properties. If they hadn't already agreed internally that the house would only be rented and not sold, Lu Ligan felt that even though there was not even a hair on the house, He could get a lot of money back just by selling it off the plan. The suggestion of only renting but not selling was put forward by Lou Ligon. He said that since we are a bank ourselves, we are not short of money and do not need to ask for loans, so we mortgaged the land to our superior bank. Although Sun Ho and others are called president and assistant president to the outside world, they are actually a trading finance company under the bank. They do not have lending rights, but their superior banks do. There are no regional restrictions and they can do nationwide business. After the building is completed, we will mortgage the building to the superior bank. As long as there is a surplus from the annual rent payment and interest, we will be holding a chicken that can lay eggs, Lou Ligon said. The value of land and houses will increase every year, and the increased value is earned by ourselves. The rent will increase every year, so what do we have to worry about? Hainan Company, with such a project as the foundation, we will not worry about funds and liquidity, and we will have the ability to develop other projects. Sun Ho and several bank presidents also agreed with Lou Ligon's idea. Facts have also verified that his idea is correct. After their project started, in just 2 months, especially the central one after the document was issued, the land value of Hainan international trade increased by nearly 50%, and the land could not be found. Sun Ho regretted it to death. He said, "Damn it, if he had known this, he would have taken over all those pieces of land." In this way, Guang Hainan Company could submit a beautiful report card to their entire company. The other businesses of Sun Ho's company are too bad, especially the trading area that Sun Ho has no involvement in. The profitable orders are all small profits, and the few orders that lose are big losses. On average, if you don't lose money, you are lucky. The vice president in charge of business was disgraced, which made Sun Ho feel very proud in front of them. Lou Ligon and his company have newly established a project department. Many new people have been recruited in the office, project department, and finance department. Lou Ligon recruited CAO Kuaking to the project department to be in charge of the project department, and appointed Wei Venfang as the company's office director. Huang Jianren no longer works part-time as an accountant, but has hired dedicated accountants and cashiers. Chen Ji serves as the financial department manager, and Huang Jianren is her immediate boss. Even busier than Lou Ligon was Meng Ping. He finally succeeded in reselling his first piece of land. The land was on Haidian Island. The area was not large, more than 12 acres, and the profit was not much. Click on Ye Yulan's calculator. Pressing it, she sighed one last time. The other 3 women in the company looked at her with fear. When they heard her sigh, they all finished their thoughts. Ye Yulan looked at them and said slowly, "After such a long time, I finally heard the jingle of money coming back." The 3 people jumped up immediately. Su Jiaking hit Ye Yulan hard and cursed, "You scared me to death." "How much? If we remove the money spent on buying meat buns for beating dogs, will we lose money?" Qian Fang asked anxiously. Ye Yulan leaned back on the chair and told them that she had made 180,000 yuan. The other 3 women all screamed. Their name was not Meng Ping. The 4 of them took Yuan to the upstairs of Wanghai Mall to have a good meal of mutton boiled meat to celebrate. While Lou Ligon and his team were breaking ground on their project, Jason and his Hong Kong P/U0026T architectural design company opened a branch in Haikan. Jin Fukong was the general manager and Jason was the chief designer. Zhang Chen is now the vice president of Mr. Ten and Teng Long Decoration Co., Limited. After the establishment of Jason and his branch, Zhang Chen proposed to Mr. Tan that his company form a strategic partnership with the Hainan branch of Hong Kong P/U0026T architectural design company. One of them is good at architectural design and structural design, the other is good at interior design, and they are highly complementary. As foreign monks like Jin Fukong, in many aspects, they need the guidance of local monks like Mr. Tan, and Mr. Tan and the others need these foreign monks to support their appearance. After all, in that era, as long as there were the word Hong Kong is a symbol of high status in the eyes of many customers. During Zhang Chen's contact with Jason and others, he felt that the field of garden landscape design is likely to have great development potential in the future. Whether it is residential areas, resort hotels, or municipal construction, there will be a huge demand for this area. And this is something that foreign companies like Jason and others cannot do at once. After all, garden landscape design must rely on local resources, be familiar with local culture, and have a full understanding of the habits of local flowers and plants. There are smooth purchasing channels. Mr. Ten accepted Zhang Chen's suggestion and set up a landscape design department in the company. The first project they got was the landscape design of Longkan South Road. Zhang Chen found that when he started doing landscape design, he had no idea. It doesn't hurt anymore, and what I learned before is actually put to use now. Most of their troupes mainly perform costume plays. The art of the small troupe, from painting the scenery, designing props to costume design, is all done by one person. Zhang Chen is a serious person. In order to work, he not only memorized a copy of Chen Kongzhou's Shuo Yuan by heart, but also read a thick copy of Shen Kongwen's research on ancient Chinese costumes countless times. This book he asked the county library to help him get it in. After arriving, Zhang Chen borrowed it without returning it. He usually helped the library and would not return it if he didn't return it. Anyway, he did it for work. Anyway, we are still in the same system. Although the book is expensive, the curator let him go. Zhang Chen has been to Suzhou, Hangzhou, Shaoxing, Tungzi, and Shaixian, and has visited a large number of gardens. He has also done a lot of field research in Yongcheng. In Jiangnan, almost every village and town has numerous pavilions and paintings. Dongfei, Danying, and Keiji, these are all nutrients now. When Zhang Chen designed the garden landscape, he combined ancient Chinese gardens with Japanese garden design. He felt that Japan may be restricted by geography. Their gardens are generally smaller, and their styles are similar to Chinese gardens but different. Using an appropriate in terms of poetry, Zhang Chen feels that Japanese gardens are more like highly generalized Chinese gardens. Zhang Chen also integrated his experience in interior design into his design, trying to be as concise and avant-garde as possible. After Jason and the others opened a branch in Haikan, Zhang Chen felt that the biggest benefit for him personally was that he could see a large amount of European and American design materials from them. They had a database. In addition to books and picture albums, there is also a large amount of image data, and this database is open to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen felt that he had benefited a lot. After Zhang Chen's landscape design work came out, he asked Jason to look at it. Jason admired it very much. He said that this style was similar to the design of Impe. Of course Zhang Chen knew that this was an exaggeration. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 373. When Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan came home every day, Xiao Zhao had already prepared dinner. Xiao Zhao's fried dishes were delicious. Lu Ligan sighed, I finally feel like home. Lu Ligan asked Wen Wen and Qian, can you help? Wen Wen said that she had helped. Qian and I washed these vegetables. Qian looked at Xiao Zhao and said, if you eat like this every day, each of us should pay for your food, right? Xiao Zhao smiled and said, no, no, no. Lu Ligan and Qian said, you're sensible, that's a good thing to say. Then you can help us pay for Wen Wen and I's food expenses. Qian immediately told Lu Ligan. Why? Lu Ligan asked. Since we are your wives, if you don't support us, who will? Wen Wen said. You two have agreed upon this, right? Lu Ligan shouted. Of course, aren't you the dog that never forgets you? You are a celebrity now, even many of our guests know you, and you are still so stingy. I am embarrassed to tell the guests that I know you. Wenwen said. What kind of dog? Zhang Chen felt strange as he listened to their conversation and couldn't help but interject. Wealth and wealth, don't forget each other, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen almost spat out his rice after one mouthful. After eating, Wenwen and Qian went to work. After a while, Lu Ligan came over and asked Zhang Chen for the keys to his motorcycle. Why don't you sit down when there is a Big Ben? Do you want to pretend to be Loki and go to Ding Dong? Are you afraid that people will drive up prices? Zhang Chen joked. Lu Ligan said he was going to Lu Yun's place and was too lazy to ask Wu Ziyawai to come over. He didn't know if he and Wei Venfang had just entered a movie theater. These two people loved watching movies so damn much that they regarded the couple seats in the movie theater as their own bed. In fact, in his heart, he didn't know when he would come back after going to Lu Yun's place. He might not come back in one night. It was always a worry to let Wu Ziyawai wait outside. It was better to ride a motorcycle and come and go freely. After Lu Ligan left, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao sat on the sofa. Xiao Zhao sighed. Zhang Chen looked at her and asked her what was wrong. I just feel weird, Xiao Zhao said. What's weird? Zhang Chen asked. Alas, Xiao Zhao sighed and said, Zhang is so pretty, he should be a bad guy, and I should hate him, but why don't I think he is bad at all, and I don't hate him at all? You said, this why? Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, maybe it's because of the distance. The perspective of looking at people is different when the distance is close. People are complex and have many sides, like a pole, and the flower is just one of them. When the distance is close, you will find other good things about him and automatically downplay his bad side. The whole world thinks Hitler is a devil, but it is different in Eva's eyes. Who is Eva? Hitler's lover committed suicide with Hitler. The day before her suicide, she held a wedding with Hitler. In her eyes, Hitler was definitely not a devil, but her lover. Including many bad people. No matter how bad a bad person is, there are always people who think he is a good person. For example, his parents or children will think he is a good son or a good father. This is probably because of the proximity. That makes sense, Xiao Zhao pondered and nodded, but then shook her head again and said, no, I'm very close to you, but if you are such a spendthrift, I will be very sad. Zhang Chen smiled and said, then add one more thing, the distance is close and there is no direct conflict of interest, you won't find this person annoying. For example, if a person has a lover, for people who are also very close to him, the reaction will be different, his wife will react the most violently, and the parents and children will react a little lighter. No, not necessarily. If my father treats my mother badly, I might feel more sad than my mother, Xiao Zhao said. Zhang Chen shook his head. He felt that this truth could no longer be explained clearly. By December, everyone feels that the year is coming to an end. Although the Chinese people regard New Year's Day as nothing, they all regard the Lunar New Year as the end of the year. After the 15th day of the first lunar month, the serious work of the year begins. First day. This year, the Chinese New Year is celebrated on February 4th, and there are still 2 months to go. However, everyone still feels that it is the end of the year. Especially for those of them who are working hard outside, they always feel that no matter how hard they work this year, it will soon be over. No more tricks, everything will have to wait until next year. Next year is always a day worth looking forward to. When spring begins in the north, not only will everything recover, but the vast army of investors will also move south in a big way. It will catch us off guard, Meng Ping and Lu Ligan said, but their hearts were swaying. Unlike Hainan Meng Ping, Lu Ligan, and others, they felt the wind coming. The second half of 1991 was a dull period for many people in many places on the mainland. It could even be said to be a depressed period. Occasionally, there is a bit of good news, but it feels like it is just a glimmer of stagnant water. Everyone generally feels depressed about the stagnation of reform. This kind of news has also reached Hainan through various channels, giving people the feeling that they have just made preparations at the starting line, their backs are already arched high, and they are just waiting for the starting gun to sound, but the referee asks everyone to go back to preparations. Feel. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan are waiting anxiously. Those who have registered real estate companies in Hainan and come from all over the country are also waiting uneasily. Everyone has pinned their hopes on the coming year. Although there is no severe winter in Hainan, the spring festival in Sanya you can still go swimming in the sea, but everyone hopes that this winter will pass quickly. This is the winter in the human heart. Meng Ping always ran to Lu Ligan. He came to inquire about information and asked Lu Ligan to ask Sun Ho. Sun Ho hesitated and always spoke vaguely. Asked Huang Jianren to ask his old man, Huang Jianren said, I don't dare. Apart from being scolded, I will not get any news. Even if I know, I don't dare to tell. I have known since I was a child that I must abide by school disciplines not only when going to school, but also when I am at home after school. We must also keep in mind the political discipline, that is, don't ask random questions about things you shouldn't ask, don't pry around about things you shouldn't inquire about, and absolutely don't talk about things you shouldn't say. Haha, why do you treat you young masters like little wives, Lu Ligan said with a smile. What do you think? Huang Jianren rolled his eyes at him. Let me tell you, in Beijing, children like us can still visit each other, but adults can't even visit each other if there is nothing to do. I won't tell you where to go to play cards after dinner, play mahjong, chat, etc. If you want to play cards, you can also play with someone from the security class. Why? Lu Li asked curiously. Guatian Li Xia, do you understand? The people who have never heard of it all belong to this group or that group, Huang Jianren said angrily. I understand, I understand. When you put it this way, it's true that in our small wuxi, the bosses don't visit each other, Meng Ping said, so that's what happened. Lu Yun breathed a sigh of relief. The reason she breathed a sigh of relief was that her parents suddenly decided not to come to Hainan to celebrate the New Year. They said they wanted to go back to their hometown to celebrate the New Year with her grandparents and celebrate her 70th birthday. Lu Yun talked to her on the phone. Her mother, complaining, was actually relieved. And she knew that if her mother didn't know that she was not coming to Hainan, Lu Yun would be very disappointed and unhappy, and if she didn't complain, she would be the one who would be blamed and scolded for having no conscience. Lu Ligan once thought about returning to Yongcheng this year. He felt that his deeds in Haikan and Xiao's stay in Yongcheng must have been exaggerated well enough, the atmosphere had been created enough, and the opening gongs and drums were beaten. It was his turn. The protagonist comes on stage. Now on the stage, he is not just a sidekick, nor is he going to sing hey 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 hey, but he is making a shining debut as a first-class protagonist. He can imagine how those people on Joham will compliment him and look at him with envy. Looking at him, Lu Ligan even thought about letting Wu Zai drive out of the island in a Mercedes-Benz and walk for 3 days and 3 nights before finally reaching Yongcheng. He even imagined that Feng Logui and Tan Shahan were holding hands, walking on the road leading to Jiufang. On the steep slope they were going up, his Mercedes-Benz drove up behind them. Wu Zai honked the horn. They quickly moved to the side to avoid it, and then they found themselves sitting in the car staring intently. This picture is so exciting. But when Zhang Chen said he didn't want to go back, Lu Ligan immediately said, I don't want to go back either. What's the point of going back to a damn Yongcheng city? He understood why Zhang Chen didn't want to return to Yongcheng, and Xiao Wu also heightened his atmosphere, which made him a little overwhelmed. Lu Ligan felt very regretful, and thought of the king of Chu's wealth and honor who would not return to his hometown, such as the words of Jinyi Yexing, how could this illiterate person be so damn powerful, and be able to express his feelings and thoughts more than 2,000 years later? Come out. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 374. Sun Ho called Lu Ligan and said that he would transfer Huang Jianren back to Beijing. Lu Ligan was taken aback and asked, "Why? You do not know." "How do I know? Didn't you just tell me?" Lu Ligan said. "This is good, why should it be changed?" "Okay, that's great. This grandson will make a big thunder when he comes," Sun Ho scolded. Sun Ho talked to Lu Ligan, and then Lu Ligan realized that it was Huang Jianren who called home and said that he had a girlfriend in Haikan and he wanted to take her back to Beijing during the Spring Festival. Lu Ligan cursed, "How old is this? He is so old. It is not his freedom to find a girlfriend. It is not his freedom to take whom he wants to take back. Besides, isn't this his personal matter? What does it have to do with the unit? Why should he be transferred because of this? Gangzi, you are thinking too simple. Do you think that if someone puts him here, he will still be grateful to us and think that we have helped him solve his employment problem?" Sun Ho said. "Isn't it?" Lu Ligan asked. Sun Ho almost laughed out loud. He said, You, what can I say about you? Okay, I'll just treat you like you. It's not an exaggeration to be ignorant. How many companies do you know that want him to work for them? The old man put him here because he thought our unit was reliable and that training would not delay his son's future. That means you have to thank him for being considerate," Lu Ligan asked. "That's really what happened. Then we can't talk about it here. We have to control who he falls in love with, right? Pol, let me ask you first, do you know who that woman is?" Lu Ligan could guess that this woman should be Su Jiaking, but he was too lazy to care about it. He said, "How do I know? He won't tell me. Not from our company. I can guarantee this. If it is from our company, I will definitely know." "Okay, then this has nothing to do with us." Sun Ho breathed a sigh of relief. It's his own business. There are so many women in Haikan, but this grandson can just play around and take it seriously. It's really annoying. You can't say that. It's normal for people to want to have a serious relationship. But damn, this grandson has a girlfriend in Beijing. Lu Ligan heard Wu Zayawai talk about this, and he said, maybe he doesn't like it and wants to change it. Some can be changed, and some really can't be changed if he wants to. I also know that the grandson doesn't like that girl, but the whole family is attracted to him. Their old man also thinks it's pretty good, so he can still tolerate it. This grandson. Lu Ligan felt a little unconvinced. He said, that can't be arranged. After decades of revolution, he is still an old feudal. Isn't that a joke? By the way, this is to transfer him back to Beijing. Wasn't it their idea? Of course, I've given you an ultimatum. If you transfer someone, please bring him back. If he's transferred, he'll be transferred back. We're not afraid of him. It's better to do less than to do more. We can't do this kind of thing. It makes people unhappy, do you understand? But Pol, stop talking. His replacement will arrive tomorrow. You can arrange for them to hand over. Okay, Lu Ligan sighed. By the way, does Huang Jianren know about this? You are his leader, you inform him, Pol Sun Ho said and hung up the phone. Lu Ligan sat there and thought for a while. He thought, what the hell, the affairs of these nobles are really beyond the understanding of a person from a mountain valley like him. At this time, he felt a little admired by Wei Venfang. Being able to keep a clear mind and insist on not being teased saves a lot of trouble for myself and the company. Lu Ligan felt a little unworthy of Su Jiaking, and he also felt dissatisfied. Why should a good girl come to her door and be so disliked by others? However, who can say clearly about this matter between men and women? Lu Ligan considered whether he should call Meng Ping first, but he thought it was unnecessary. Meng Ping knew it, so what could he do? Call Su Jiaking into the office to scold her and tell her to break up with Huang Jianren as soon as possible? This is not what Meng Ping would do. After all, the two of them had to resolve their matters by themselves. Lu Ligan decided to call Huang Jianren over first. Lu Ligan got straight to the point and said to him, "Just now, Sun Ho called and said he wanted to transfer you back to Beijing." What surprised Lu Ligan was that Huang Jianren didn't seem surprised at all. Instead, he snorted and said, "I knew they would do this. So you have been prepared." "Of course, I was ready when I told them." "Who are they you are talking about?" "It's my home." "Think clearly, it's not the fault of the unit. My family doesn't bother me. How can my company care about this kind of thing?" Sun Ho himself, didn't he almost? When Huang Jianren said this, he quickly stopped. Everyone knew that the person Sun Ho chased but failed to catch up with was now Lu Ligan's girlfriend. Lu Ligan understood in his heart, but remained calm and said, "Then what are you going to do?" "I won't go back to Beijing." "But, the person sent by your office in Beijing to replace you will arrive tomorrow." Huang Jianren looked at Lu Ligan and said to him, "Don't worry, I will make a good handover, but after the handover is over, I will not return to Beijing. I hope you will not interfere with this matter." "Of course, I don't have the right or obligation to take care of it. If you don't want to go back, I can't take you to Beijing. What I can guarantee is that as long as you stay in Haikan for 1 day, I will pay you 1 day's salary. Even if you have nothing to do every day, I will never fire you here, you can stay as long as you want." "That's good, thank you, Mr. Lu. However, you must also understand that your pressure does not come from me, but from your family and your industry. I know, the worst case scenario is that I won't work anymore and I'll go out and find another job on my own." "Okay, you have the guts. I personally admire you. I didn't expect that you are a bitch and have such positive behavior. If you really want to find a job, I can help you introduce a job." "Thanks." "Ask, who is that, is it Su Jiaking?" Huang Jianren nodded, and Lu Ligan said, "Yes, you have good taste, but it's a pity that I'm not your father, otherwise I would have agreed." Are you so profitable?" Huang Jianren cursed, and both of them laughed. Lu Ligan didn't call Meng Ping. After a while, Meng Ping ran over. As soon as he entered Lu Ligan's office, he cursed, "Gangzi, what's going on with that yellow bitch here? What's going on? Damn it," Su Jiaking was crying in the office. "I asked her what was going on, but she refused to tell me. After I asked Ye Yulan, she told me that she was in a relationship with you yellow bitch, and she was probably bullied by the yellow bitch." "Yes, I will." "You're just going to ask me for help. He is yours. If I don't look for you, who can I look for? Do you care? If you don't care, I will go directly to him. I would like to take care of it, but unfortunately I can't. By the way, what does their matter have to do with you? What do you care about?" "Of course I have to take care of it. I am the parent and Jiaking is my sister." "Okay, brother, sit down first. I'll talk to you after you sit down." Meng Ping angrily sat down on the sofa. Lu Ligan said to him, "It's true that they are in love, but this time, it's not this kid who bullies Su Jiaking." "Did Jiaking bully him? Still crying after bullying someone?" "Oh, no, it's a long story. Do you want to listen? If you want to listen, go get yourself a glass of water. Come on, help me add some too." Meng Ping stood up, took the cup in front of Lu Ligan, walked over and added water to his cup. Instead of pouring water from the cup, he got himself a bottle of mineral water from the refrigerator. He sat in front of the upright executive desk and said, "Okay, we can talk now." Lu Ligan told Meng Ping about bitch Huang. After hearing this, Meng Ping lost much of his anger. Lu Ligan said. That's the thing. Tell me, what can we do? Either you take a plane to Beijing tomorrow, find Huang Jianren's old man, criticize him, and tell him, old revolutionary, you can't keep up with the new era, you have become a cultivator. You yourself are a child of a poor family, how dare you look down on the common people now? Meng Ping sighed heavily, and Lu Ligan continued, even if you can find Huang Jianren's house, the guards won't let you in, so just save it. This guy is good. I just asked him. He is also against the bureaucracy parental awareness. Don't be afraid. If you really want to lose your job, just come to my place. Meng Ping called. Lu Ligan smiled and said, by the way, from the moment you entered the door to now, you have said this right. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 375. The person sent by Beijing to replace Huang Jianren arrived the next day. She was a woman, 2 years older than Huang Jianren, 27, with a very powerful name, Zheng Wei, and Huang Jianren called her sister Zheng. Lu Ligan laughed when he heard her name. Zheng Wei was surprised and asked him, why are you laughing? Does my name sound a bit masculine? No, I'm sorry, your name is too powerful. It reminds me of a friend of mine, but he's not as old as you, Lu Ligan said quickly. A little brat? No, others call him instructor. This instructor is a company-level cadre. You are the political commissar, at least the regiment level. You are older than him. Zheng Wei and Huang Jianren both laughed. The two people were colleagues and professionals. Their handover was smooth and fast. It only took half a day to complete. Lu Ligan signed their handover procedures. Zheng Wei looked at Huang Jianren and asked, you want to go back? I won't go back, Huang Jianren said. Zheng Wei nodded and said, I understand, but I must report this matter to the industry. Don't blame me. I know, this is your job, sister. Xiao Huang is an employee of your company, and he is also our employee here. As long as he is still in Haikan, I will not fire him, Lu Ligan and Zheng Wei said. Your finance, no matter whether others are here or not, I will not fire him. The company will continue to count his attendance. Okay, Zheng Wei nodded. Huang Jianren wanted to hand over his eldest brother to Zheng Wei, but Zheng Wei refused to accept it. She said, if you don't go back, at least keep the phone open so that you can be found at home. Otherwise, everyone from the president to us will be in trouble. Huang Jianren said, yes, I will handle my own affairs. Huang Jianren stood up and walked out. Zheng Wei looked at his back, his eyes were a little sad, and there seemed to be tears in his eyes. Seeing Lu Ligan looking at her, Zheng Wei quickly shook his head, his short hair neatly spread out in a fan shape, and she smiled at Lu Ligan. You siblings, do you have a deep relationship? Lu Ligan asked. We're just colleagues. We can still talk to each other normally. There's no relationship at all. Zheng Wei said that she knew that Lu Ligan had just looked at her with a curious look, and she was afraid that he would misunderstand her, so she added casually, it's just a matter of sympathy. Lu Ligan understood that if Huang Jianren was a prince, then Zheng Wei should be a princess and had some background. Lu Ligan sympathized with Sun Ho and their governor Zhu. He had such a group of princes and princesses who easily offended him. It's really difficult to spend most of your energy outside of work. Lu Ligan asked Wei Wenfang to take Zheng Wei to buy a mobile phone. He thought that even if Huang Jianren left, his mobile phone could be given to Cao Kuoking. There was no phone on the construction site and there were no shops around. He would have a phone to keep in touch every day. Also convenient. Lu Ligan called Meng Ping and told Meng Ping about his situation. Meng Ping said, I understand. Su Jiaking will also ask for leave tomorrow. I don't know what they are going to do. How the hell does it look like this? It smells like a fateful Mandarin duck. Okay, stop complaining and tell me, how are you doing there, Lu Ligan said. I'm ready to go here. It's not that I can't get the land now, but I don't dare to get it because I'm afraid that I won't be able to transfer the money. Pol, Sun Ho, you'd better keep an eye on it for me. If there's any trouble, don't blow it. Blow the air. New. The next day, Huang Jianren did not show up at the company. In the evening, Zheng Wei entered Lu Ligan's office and asked him anxiously, "Have you contacted Xiao Huang today?" "No, what's wrong?" Lu Ligan asked. "This guy has not returned to Beijing and cannot be contacted. They are worried." Lu Ligan quickly dialed Huang Jianren's mobile phone number, but failed to get through. He wanted to call again. Zheng Wei said, "Stop calling. I have called him several times. Do you know where he lives?" Wu Zhaowai knows. "Okay, let's go over and take a look." Lu Ligan stood up and walked out of the door. When they got to the car, Lu Lizan called Meng Ping's big brother and told him the matter. Meng Ping smiled and said, "What's all the fuss about?" Su Jiaking asked for 3 days leave. "During these 3 days, they must be here. Dear me, why do you care so much?" "No, he can't even get through on the phone." Meng Ping scolded, "Gangzi, you are here too. Who likes that when you keep hearing the phone ringing? Are you kidding me? If it were me, I would turn off the phone too." Meng Ping screamed so loudly that everyone in the car heard it clearly. Lu Ligan saw Zheng Wei's face blushing slightly in the rearview mirror. They rushed to Huang Jianren's residence, which was a 2-bedroom and 1 living house on the 3rd floor of a 5-story building on Heping South Road. They stood at the door, and Wu Zhaowai knocked on the door, but it was quiet inside. Zheng Wei used Big Brother to dial Huang Jianren's big brother, but still couldn't get through. Wu Kai continued to knock on the door and shouted, "Huang bitch, open the door. Mr. Lu and Mr. Zheng are here to find you. Open the door quickly." There was still silence inside the door. Zheng Wei became anxious and said, "Kick the door." Wu Zhaowai looked at Lu Ligan nodded, and Wu Zhaowai kicked the door open with a bang. The 3 people entered the room. The first thing that caught their eyes was Huang Jianren's mobile phone on the table in the living room. The body and battery had been separated. No wonder it couldn't be connected. The 3 people walked around the room and saw no one. "Check to see if there is anything missing," Zheng Wei said. Wu Zhaowai opened the closet and rummaged around, thought for a while, and told them that some of the clothes this bitch usually wore seemed to be missing. When he looked again, he found that his travel bag was also missing. Meng Ping Zhen was not far from here. When he received a call from Lu Ligan, he quickly asked Cao Ziahe to turn around and go to Pingnan. He dunked Su Jiaking, but Su Jiaking never responded. This was something Su Jiaking had never done before. Meng Ping realized that this matter was not that simple anymore. Meng Ping rushed here, and Lu Ligan introduced him and Zheng Wei to each other. Zheng Wei knew that this was the person on the phone just now, and couldn't help but blush again. Meng Ping asked about the situation, and he said, "Will they go to Beijing and break into that feudal family?" Zheng Wei immediately objected. She said, "If that were the case, their family would be in chaos and they would have no time to ask for people from our industry." "It's possible that he has returned to Beijing and is not home yet," Meng Ping said. Lu Ligan thought this was possible. He asked Zheng Wei, "Do you know Huang Jianren's ID number?" Zheng Wei shook his head, and Wu Zhaowai said, "Ask Wei Venfang, she has everyone's personnel information." Lu Ligan gave his eldest brother Wu Kai and asked him to ask quickly. Lu Ligan looked at Meng Ping. Before he could speak, Meng Ping smiled bitterly and said, "Ours are all at Su Jiaking's place. I have already detained her," and never replied. However, Meng Ping immediately called Ye Yulan and asked her. Ye Yulan said yes. "I have a copy of her ID card here, which was used when we applied for a bank card together last time. She quickly found a copy of Su Jiaqing's ID card and reported the ID number to Meng Ping. Over there, Wu Ziyawai also got Huang Jianren's ID number. Lu Ligan took out his address book from his bag, found a friend at the airport, called his office, found him, and asked him to help check. The other party asked for the names and ID numbers of two people, and Lu Ligan Li Zhan said, "Wait a moment, I will get back to you right away." Taking advantage of this moment, Lu Ligan asked Wu Kai to use Zheng Wei's eldest brother to detain Cao Qiaoqing and asked him to bring someone over here to repair the door. The friend at the airport called back immediately and told Lu Ligan that no, these two people had never bought or booked a flight ticket. "If you even leave the phone here, you won't prepare us to find him." "Are these two bastards going to die for their love?" Meng Ping shouted. Meng Ping's words shocked everyone, and their hearts trembled. But after calming down, Lu Ligan immediately denied Meng Ping's statement. He said, "If you want to die for love, just go there. Haikan is surrounded by the sea. Who needs to bring a change of clothes with them to die for love?" Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and felt that what Lu Ligan said made sense. "Then let's look for him. We have clothes on him and he's not committing suicide, so we can just go to the hotel to have some romance. Let's look for him separately." Meng Ping said that when Lu Ligan saw it, Zheng Wei's face turned slightly red again. Lu Ligan felt strange. How could Zheng Wei, who was still young, not a little girl, and had a neat style of work, blush whenever he heard about things between men and women? This is too damn pure. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 376. They found it was around 9 o'clock in the evening and searched almost all hotels, large and small, in Haikan, but they could not find Huang Jianren or Su Jiaqing. With no choice, Zheng Wei could only call President Zhu and report the situation here. President Zhu asked, "Can you be sure whether he is in danger?" Zheng Wei looked at Lu Ligan, who shook his head. Zheng Wei and President Zhu said, "There is no danger. He probably just doesn't want to go back, and he doesn't want us to find him, so he changed places." Mr. Zhu sighed and said, "Okay, I'll go to comfort him at home. If you find anything new there, call us right away." Zheng Wei said yes. Lu Ligan talked with Meng Ping on the phone, but Meng Ping couldn't find it there. Meng Ping told him that they went to the place where Su Jiaqing and Ye Yulan lived, but there was no one there. Ye Yulan said that Su Jiaqing's bag seemed to be missing too. "Yes, they should have gone somewhere. Don't worry, Zhuangzi. If Su Jiaqing comes back, Ye Yulan will call me. Also, don't worry, it will take 3 days at most. I guarantee that on the night of the 3rd day, even if they don't show up, Su Jiaqing will call me." "Yes," Meng Ping said. "How can you be so sure?" "I don't know about my person yet. She asked for 3 days of leave. She will definitely return to the company on the 4th day. If she doesn't return, she will also ask for leave first. You and who else, don't worry." When Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were talking on the phone, Zheng Wei also heard it. After hanging up Meng Ping, Lu Ligan looked at her and she said with a wry smile, 3 days. My biggest sympathy right now is for Mr. Zhu and Sun Ho. I don't know how they will survive these 3 days. These gentlemen are too fragile. Common people like us have not been home for more than a year. We usually call home once a month at most, and our family won't worry. If we beat them too much, we will be scolded by our family members." Lu Ligan smiled. "Why?" Zheng Wiki asked. "Everyone in my family knows that long-distance calls are expensive. If they make too many calls, they think it's a waste of money," Lu Ligan said. "Me too. I haven't made a single call to my family since I came out, Wu Zheawei shouted. What can I call? I hold the phone and I don't know what to say. Anyway, my family knows, and I don't know how to do it outside. Zheng Wei lowered his head and remained silent. Lu Ligan said, I'm hungry, political commissar, are you hungry? Zheng Wei was about the same age as him, so it was inappropriate for him to call her Xiao Zheng. He felt that calling her President Zheng was too formal and unfamiliar, so he jokingly called her political commissar. Zheng Wei seemed to understand. She said, I'm hungry, Commander. The three people in the car all laughed, and Lu Ligan asked, can I eat spicy food? Zheng Wei shook his head. Then go eat mutton, Lu Ligan said, but that place is a bit. Lu Ligan couldn't think of the right words for a moment, so Zheng Wei asked, what's the point? Dirty. Wu Zheawei said that. Lu Ligan glared at him and quickly said to Zheng Wei, actually, it's not dirty, but the people there are locals, not very particular, a bit simple. Zheng Wei chuckled and said, it's not the war years. Where do you think this political commissar can't go? Lu Ligan laughed. The three of them arrived at the Dongyang Hot Pot restaurant. What pleased Lu Ligan was that Zheng Wei did not dislike the place as being too shabby at all. Instead, she showed a somewhat exaggerated curiosity. However, her exaggeration made she could tell that she wasn't just pretending, but she was really curious. This place was so unexpected to her. Because of this, Lu Ligan felt more deeply how far away she was from the life of ordinary people in Beijing. Zheng Wei thought the food here was delicious. She didn't dare to touch the duck intestines at first. With constant encouragement from Lu Ligan and Wu Zheawei, she picked a small piece with chopsticks and rinsed it in the pot. Frowned, closed his eyes slightly and bit a little bit, and finally relaxed his brows, bit a little bit more, opened his eyes, ate the whole duck intestine, and smiled widely on his face. This whole look is like that of a very young girl. She smiled at them and said, delicious. Lu Ligan said, then eat more. She quickly shook her head and said, if you don't want to eat it, don't eat it. Just taste it. After a while, he couldn't help it anymore. He looked at Lu Ligan, smiled mischievously, and took another shabu-shabu. After eating, he then did the same as Lu Ligan and Wu Zheawei, rinsing the shabu one chopstick after another. The three of them ate until past 11 o'clock. They ate happily and had long forgotten the previous depression. Zheng Wei said no more, and she couldn't eat any more. After a while, she looked around and felt a little confused. Said excitedly, it turns out Hainan's local food is so delicious. If you like it, I'll take you to eat it every day, Lu Ligan said, I promise it won't be the same for a month. Really? That's great, Zheng Wei shouted. A month? I'm not afraid of showing my feelings. Wu Zheawei muttered. Zheng Wei's face turned crimson, and Lu Ligan used the chopsticks in his hand to give Wu Zheawei a slap. Wu Zheawei quickly shouted, okay, you guys eat slowly, for a month, either way Venfang and I will follow suit, or will I be the only light bulb? Lu Ligan laughed, and Zheng Wei quickly turned his head. Lu Ligan saw that even her neck was red. Her neck was long and her hair was short. There was a kind of grace when she turned. After leaving the Dongyang Hot Pot restaurant, Lu Ligan and Zheng Wei said, for Haikan, the evening has just begun. Do you want to go around first or go back to the room? Zheng Wei looked at her watch and said, go back to the room. I have to make a phone call with Beijing. It's too late. I'm afraid they are all asleep. Lu Ligan understood that this was an inconvenient phone call in front of him and Wu Zheawei, so he told Wu Zheawei that he would send the political commissar back first. Zheng Vifang had just arrived and had not rented an apartment. Wei Venfang was also worried that she, a girl, would live too far away from the company or that it would be unsafe to live alone, So he temporarily arranged for her to stay at the Yedeo Hotel on Lonkin North Road opposite the company. On the way, Lu Ligan asked Zheng Wei if the hotel was okay and if he could get used to it. If it doesn't work, ask Wei Venfang to help you find another one tomorrow. The room is very good, big, and beautiful, just. Zheng Wei was a little shy. Even in the dark, Lu Ligan could feel that her face must have turned red again. What is it? Lu Ligan asked. Zheng Wei seemed to have mustered up the courage to say, there are many unreasonable people in the lobby of the hotel. Lu Ligan understood that it must be those people sitting in the hotel lobby. When they saw Zheng Wei walking in and out of someone, and he was from mainland China, they thought she was ding-dong and wanted to strike up a conversation. Although most of the people who try to strike up a conversation are from the mainland, as long as they stay in Haikan for a few days, they will suddenly become so bold that they feel that every woman in the city is a ding-dong and can be struck up a conversation with. But there's really nothing we can do about it, the lobby of every hotel is like this, and it can't be replaced. Lu Ligan could only say to Zheng Wei, it doesn't matter, just ignore them. This is the case in every hotel in Haikan. Why, where did these people come from? People from the mainland, Taiwan, and Hong Kong are all there. When they arrive in Hainan, it becomes a virtue, Lu Ligan said, thinking that he was no better than them. While they were talking, the car was passing by Haixiu Road. Lu Ligan asked Wu Ziyawai to drive slower. He rolled down the window and pointed at the colorful girls standing on the roadside outside. He said, you see them, yet? See, they are so beautiful. Are they waiting to perform? No, they are ding-dong. Ding-dong? What is ding-dong? Ding-dong is. It's just for sale, Wu Ziyawai said. Ah, Zheng Wei was slightly surprised. Her face must have turned red again. She stammered, now, is there still this kind of thing, still, so blatant? What's this? It's everywhere, Wu Ziyawai said. Look at those men again, do you see them? Lu Ligan asked. Zheng Wei nodded and said he saw it. Those men in the hotel lobby are just like this, Lu Ligan said. In Haikan, a girl cannot just stand on the roadside. If you stand there, there will be people like this who will come up and talk to you. Also in the hotel lobby, but if you just ignore them, they won't pester you. Zheng Wei understood and felt a little angry. It turned out that those people thought she was the same as the girls outside. She cursed softly, I'm going to die. It's not surprising after seeing so many people, Lu Ligan smiled. When they arrived at Yedeo Hotel, Zheng Wei got out of the car, and Lu Ligan got out of the car too. When he accompanied her through the lobby, there were indeed several men sitting on the sofa, but when he saw someone beside Zheng Wei, let alone they weren't even interested in taking a second look at her. When he arrived at the elevator, Lu Ligan said, okay, I'll take you here. Zheng Wei looked at him, her face still flushed. She smiled and said sincerely, thank you, Commander. Thank you to the Qing Empire 1. Reading the book every day, ranked third from top to bottom, 131 on the shore and the Dal Tin Soldier for the reward. Thank you for every monthly ticket. Thank you for every recommendation vote. Thank you to everyone who reads. Thank you all. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 377. On the night of the third day, there was still no news about Huang Jianren and Su Jiaking. Even Meng Ping became anxious. He said it was impossible, something was wrong, how could they not even call? Meng Ping and Lu Ligan were restless in Lu Ligan's office, and Zheng Wei was also very annoyed in her own office. In almost half an hour, President Zhu called her and asked her if there was any news about Huang Jianren, and Zheng Wei said no. Oh, it's like 12 gold medals a day, they drove me to death, President Zhu said. What's the use of urging? We can't just go out on the street and help them catch someone to be their son. Let them wait. When it's time to appear, it will always appear. Such a big person, there is nothing to worry about. Hey, Xiaozheng, you put it lightly. What about that? I tell you, President Zhu, why don't you even answer the phone? They can do whatever they want. Hey, you think I don't want to? Zheng Wei suddenly felt that Wu Ming was angry, and she yelled, we have all tried our best. What the hell do their families want? Do they want to use the China Southern Airlines troops to help them find their son? Go to hell, let them beat me. Phone call. Just say what I said. There was silence on the other end of the phone. Even President Zhu was frightened. This was the first time he heard Zheng Wei get so angry. After a while, Zheng Wei softened her tone and said, I'm sorry, President Zhu. I'm not angry with you. I'm angry with them. Our entire company has been focusing on their son these past few days. There's no need to do anything else. I just thought, why? I know, Xiaozheng. You have worked hard too. President Zhu sighed, let's do this for now. You can do whatever you need to do. Xiao Sun and I will handle it here. Okay, President Zhu, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gotten angry. It's nothing, Xiaozheng, I also want to get angry, haha. Manager Zhu smiled and hung up the phone. President Zhu had just finished his phone call with Zheng Wei. Over there, Sun Ho had already called Lu Ligan and said to him, if you have any new news, just tell me directly and don't let Zheng Wei call President Zhu. What happened to Zheng Wei? Lu Ligan asked. It's nothing. After a moment of silence, Sun Ho said, Gangzi, you have worked hard, but you should also understand Xiao Wang's family. After all, the old man finally had the son when he was in his 50s. I know, Monkey. Lu Ligan said, I will try my best to find him here. Okay, Pole, thank you for understanding. As soon as Lu Ligan hung up Sun Ho's call, he saw Zheng Wei standing at the door, looked at him and asked, is it Sun Ho's call? Lu Ligan nodded, and Zheng Wei smiled lightly and said, damn it, it looks like I really scared President Zhu just now. Why are you, Mr. Zhu? Zheng Wei shook her head and did not answer the question. She said, let's go, forget about this nonsense, let's go to dinner. Lu Ligan said yes, and he asked Meng Ping, with us? Why are we with you? Come with me. Meng Ping said, I have a dinner at Earth Dragon King tonight. You invite people to dinner, why should we join in the fun? Let's go, don't be verbose. If you don't mind the crowds here while eating, come with me. Lu Ligan looked at Zheng Wei, who smiled and said, okay, it's better to be respectful than to obey. The next morning, Ye Yulan arrived at the office, and Meng Ping asked her anxiously, where is Su Jiaking? Did she come back last night? Ye Yulan shook her head and cursed, I don't know what kind of ecstasy soup she drank and where she went. The two were talking when they saw Su Jiaking coming in from outside the door and said angrily, I'm back, I'm not late. Meng Ping and Ye Yulan were both stunned. Qian Fang and Cao Ziahe also came over and looked at them. They all shook their heads. The four of them looked at Su Jiaking together and saw her walking to her seat and sitting there blankly. After a while, I lay on the table and started crying. The four people were startled and ran over quickly. Meng Ping asked, what's wrong with you? Su Jiaking just cried and ignored him. Ye Yulan pulled Su Jiaking's head up, and Qian Fang cursed, why are you crying? You have something to say. Su Jiaking stamped her feet anxiously, what do you want me to say? Tell me, where have you been these past 2 days? Sanya, he said he wanted to see the ends of the earth. Then what? Then I came back yesterday. Meng Ping laughed and cursed, we all know that we both live together and fly together, so why are you still crying? Su Jiaking cried loudly, he said he would never leave me, but when I woke up this morning, he was gone. Cao Ziahe asked, did you give him everything? Su Jiaking cried and didn't speak. Qian Fang scolded, "You idiot. Don't you know that men's sweet words are all just to coax you into bed?" Su Jiaking suddenly raised his head, looked at Meng Ping, and shouted, "You didn't say you wanted to make the decision for me. Go ahead and kill him for me." Meng Ping said, "Okay, then tell me, where is he now?" Su Jiaking was stunned and looked straight ahead. After a while, he slapped the table with both hands and shouted, "How do I know? If I knew, would I let him go?" Su Jiaking's head hit the table with a thump and she continued to cry. Qian Fang and Cao Ziahe shook their heads. Ya Yulan quickly hugged her and coaxed, "Okay, baby, stop crying, stop crying." Lu Ligan received a call from Meng Ping, saying that Su Jiaking had returned to the company. "Is your baby back?" Lu Ligan said he didn't see it. "Su Jiaking is back. Where have they gone?" "Sanya. Huo, he ran far enough away, making it difficult for us to find him." While Lu Ligan was answering the phone, he looked up at the outside of the glass. He wanted to see if Huang Jianren was here, but he saw Zheng Wei walking towards his office. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping said, "Meng Ping, wait a minute. I'll ask Huang Jianren if he's here." Zheng Wei walked to the door of Lu Ligan's office. Lu Ligan asked, "Su Jiaking has come back and is crying. Where is Huang Jianren? Can you help me see if you are here? What happened to them?" "Stop looking for him, he is in heaven now," Zheng Wei said. "Heaven, what do you mean?" "He called his home at the airport and said that the flight was back to Beijing at 8:40 in the morning and that he would be notified to pick him up." Lu Ligan looked at his watch. It was already 9:50, which meant that Huang Jianren had been flying in the sky for more than an hour. "Meng Ping, did you hear that?" Lu Ligan asked. "I know," Pol Meng Ping sighed, "Okay, I'll think about how to comfort the little girl." Lu Ligan hung up the phone and looked up at Zheng Wei, who was standing there with her back against the door. She bit her lip and cursed coldly, "Traitor! Coward!" Zheng Wei turned around and walked back to his office. Meng Ping thought for a while and decided to walk over and tell Su Jiaking that Huang Jianren had returned to Beijing. He had to face it anyway, and the long-term pain was not as good as the short-term pain. Su Jiaking cried for a while again. Qian Fang looked at her coldly, and Ya Yulan and Cao Ziahe kept coaxing her. Meng Ping shook his head and walked back to his office. After crying for a while, Su Jiaking gradually calmed down. Cao Ziahe, Ya Yulan and Qian Fang were still surrounding her. Qian Fang continued to scold, "Do you think you are stupid?" Su Jiaking nodded, I am a big fool. Have you learned your lesson?" Su Jiaking kept nodding. "It's a shame that you often hang out in drinking parties. You don't know what a man is. Don't think that Beijing men are more reliable than Hainan men. No, Hainan men are just more real men. Do you understand? It allows you to see men more clearly by nature. Beijing men are just more hypocritical, but in fact they are the same type of guy. Do you understand?" Su Jiaking kept nodding. Cao Ziahe and Su Jiaking said, "It's a good thing that you saw him clearly so early. It's a good decision. Otherwise, you will suffer and it will be too late to regret." Cao Ziahe looked at Meng Ping, hesitated and said, "Do you know why I came to Hainan?" Su Jiaking looked at her blankly and said nothing. Ya Yulan asked, "Sister Cao, why?" Yuan's father, that's not a thing at all. He gets drunk every day. He beats people when he comes back. He beats me, even Yuan. One time he hit Yuan. I couldn't get angry, so I rushed over and pushed him. When he got to the ground, he wanted to hit me, so I took a big teapot and hit him hard, knocking him unconscious and breaking his head. I hugged Yuan and escaped." "Well done," Qian Fang said. "Don't cry," Cao Ziahe and Su Jiaking said, "We haven't found a good husband, but at least we have found a good boss. Qian Fang and Ye Yulan laughed, and Su Jiaking couldn't help but burst into laughter. Qian Fang said, "Sister Cao, are the two you mentioned the same breed?" "Why not? Aren't they all men?" Cao Ziahe said unconvinced. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 378. The Spring Festival is 1 week away, and Zhen Wei is going back to Beijing. Lu Ligan said he would take her to the airport. Zhen Wei said, "Let Meng Ping come with her." Although Lu Ligan felt a little strange, he still called Meng Ping. As soon as Meng Ping heard that it was Zhen Wei who asked him to give it to him, he immediately reacted and said, "Commander, you, the political commissar, do you have any parting gifts?" Lu Ligan suddenly realized, he thought, maybe this is really the case, otherwise, why would Zhen Wei ask Meng Ping to see her off? She fully knew what Meng Ping was anxious about. If this is the case, Huang Mei's words are indeed correct. Women are still reliable at critical moments. Then Huang Biche and Sun Ho are very tight-lipped and refuse to reveal anything. Does Zhen Wei know something? Maybe it's because she is a girl that she knows more about the situation. Her family members don't go behind her back when talking to her. People always subconsciously feel that girls will not get into trouble and they will feel more at ease, Meng Ping said. Lu Ligan said, "Yes, that's really what happened. Are you humming coming?" "I'm already on my humming way here," Meng Ping said. Meng Ping arrived at the downstairs of Lu Ligan's company and saw Lu Ligan's car waiting at the gate. He quickly got out of the car, walked up to Lu Ligan's car, and asked Cao Ziahe to drive behind. Apart from a few simple greetings, there was no conversation along the way. When they arrived at the airport, Wu Zaiwei had just stopped the car, and Zhen Wei suddenly said, "Xiao Wu, get out of the car first." Wu Kai got out of the car, Lu Ligan sat in the passenger seat, and Meng Ping and Zhen Wei sat in the back seat. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping both turned and looked at Zhen Wei. Zhen Wei smiled and said, "Why are you looking at me?" Meng Ping said, "Waiting for you to open Chrysostom." "You know," Zhen Wei continued to smile, "okay, I've thought about this over and over again, and I think I should give you some peace of mind so that you can have a good new year." Abridged here. "That's great, is there anything else?" Meng Ping asked. "Don't argue, try boldly, and break out boldly. It's this kind of argument that has shaken Beijing a lot now. It can be seen," abridged here, Zhen Wei said, "it is estimated that after the new year, the central government will take big measures soon. The intensity and pace of reform may be beyond imagination." "Haha, great. Great." So timely, Meng Ping was so excited that he called 2-3 times in a row. The three people got out of the car. Zhen Wei looked at them and asked, "How is it? Can you have a good new year?" "It's so good, I can wake up laughing at night." Meng Ping looked at Zhen Wei and said, "Thank you. This news is so precious, I want to kiss you." Zhen Wei's face turned red instantly, and Meng Ping quickly said, "I'm sorry, I don't mean anything else." "Do you have other meanings?" Lu Ligan asked. "Don't dare." Meng Ping laughed loudly. He looked at Zhen Wei and said, "But I think we can hug each other, okay?" Although Zhen Wei's face was red, she still said yes generously. She opened her arms and the two of them hugged. Zhen Wei looked at Lu Ligan and said, "Commander, do we also want to hug our comrades when we say goodbye?" Lu Ligan said yes and hugged her quickly. The three of them walked into the terminal. Meng Ping made sure to help Zhen Wei queue up to check in, leaving Zhen Wei and Lu Ligan to stand and talk. The two stood there, seemingly speechless, they just looked at each other and smiled. "Say hello to Mr. Zhu and Sun Ho for me," said Lu Ligan and Zhen Wei. Zhen Wei said yes. "Tell that bitch for me, I want to beat him up." Zhen Wei smiled and said, "Okay, I will definitely take your words to heart, and I also want to beat him." The two people talked and laughed again. Say hello to your family for me, Lu Ligan said. You don't even know them, how can I replace them? Zheng Wei asked mischievously, do you know who is in my family? Lu Ligan was speechless for a moment. Do you feel like your mouth has become stupid? Zheng Wei asked with a smile. Lu Ligan chuckled. Meng Ping came over after completing the check-in formalities, and the two of them sent Zheng Wei to the security check. Zheng Wei was in the queue. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping stood outside the queue and moved forward with the queue. It was Zheng Wei's turn to go in soon. At that moment, she suddenly said to the two of them, "It's nice to meet you all when I come to Hainan, thank you." Lu Ligan and Meng Ping stood there, watching Zheng Wei enter. Meng Ping asked Lu Ligan, "Do you think what she said is weird?" Lu Ligan looked at Meng Ping in confusion, not sure what was wrong. "No, will she stop coming after returning to Beijing?" Meng Ping shouted. Lu Ligan was startled and suddenly realized that these words really meant something. He quickly turned his head to look at the security counter, but Zheng Wei was nowhere to be seen. Zhang Chen has been very busy these days. After the design of Lonkan South Road is completed, there are still some parts that need to be modified. The government hopes that the changes can be completed before the Spring Festival holiday. This matter has been settled. At the beginning of the new year, Mr. Tan and the others just start working directly. These people themselves also know that after going to work after the Chinese New Year, everyone will focus on greeting each other and eating and drinking. During the entire first month, no one will go to work seriously. Especially in Haikan, where the local customs are like this, everyone is happy. Follow the customs. Every night, after Zhang Chen went home and finished his meal, he had to go to work overtime and leave Xiao Zhao alone at home. He felt very sorry. Wenwen and Qian also had to go to work, and Lu Ligan was away from home recently. Xiao Zhao was the only one on the entire first floor. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said that I would go to their KTV with Wenwen and Qian later. They don't go to work anymore. Come on, they said, it will take more than an hour before they start working. I just want to see how they are doing there. Okay, my dear, I will call a car to come back when they start working. Okay, Zhang Chen said, or you can open a private room at their place and sing and play by yourself. No, it's very expensive. I can't bear to spend that money. It's okay, we can still afford it, Zhang Chen said with a smile. No, that money is all your hard-earned money. We have to keep it and put it to good use. If I really want to sing, I might as well stand in the corridor and sing like that ghost without spending a penny. Zhang Chen burst out laughing and said, I should take you back to Yongcheng and take you to our troupe. There are people there all day long who are hoarse and cooking in the corridor and babbling squatting in the toilet to defecate and singing songs. You knew who was in the toilet before you even got close. Okay, then when we go back, you must take me there. Zhang Chen said yes, and after a while he sighed again and said, I don't know if I can go back. Why can't you go back? Gangzi and I have been out for a year and a half, and we haven't even asked for leave. I don't know if we have been expelled yet. Humph, who dares to expel you? By the way, dear, let's expel them first. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay, let's fire them and the entire troupe. Two people sat there laughing. Wenwen and Qian came to call Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, then shall I go? Zhang Chen said yes. The three girls went downstairs. Zhang Chen picked up his backpack and went downstairs too. He saw Yilin downstairs, pushing his bicycle and preparing to go out. When Yilin saw Zhang Chen, he called out, Brother Zhang Chen. Where are you going? Zhang Chen asked. Go practice boxing. Zhang Chen was curious, where are you practicing boxing now? Qumao, Brother Ganza's construction site, senior brother Cao built a practice hall there. Zhang Chen understood that Cao Qiaoqing was now the manager of the project department of Lu Ligan Company. It was natural that he had set up a practice hall on the construction site. Are there many people practicing? Zhang Chen asked. Many, those who used to be in Wanghai Tower have all come over, and new ones have been recruited. Now I have become senior brothers. Yilin said to Zhang Chen with some pride. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 379. Zhang Chen was working overtime in the office. When it was almost 9 o'clock, the phone on the desk suddenly rang. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and heard Wen calling urgently. Brother Zhang Chen, come quickly, Xiao Zhao has been beaten. Ah, Zhang Chen was shocked and shouted, what's going on? It's just. Wen seemed to be at the front desk, jumping in the queue to make a call. When she picked up the phone, there was a lot of curses behind her. She wanted to say something more, but the phone was pressed. Zhang Chen didn't think much, he immediately stood up and ran out the door. When he saw the utility knife on the table, he put it into his pocket. Zhang Chen rushed to Daowen Hotel and saw many people waiting for the elevator at the entrance of the elevator on the first floor. He simply ran up the stairs from the fire exit. Zhang Chen opened the fire door and saw Wen station. In the lobby, staring at the elevator, anxiety written all over his face. Zhang Chen called Wen, and Wen ran over quickly. Zhang Chen asked anxiously, what's going on? I don't know either. Someone pulled Xiao Zhao into the box. Qian ran over and told me. Only then did I know that Qian said Xiao Zhao had been beaten. Where are the people? Still in the box, Qian is also there, trying to pull her away. Take me there quickly. Okay, over there. Wen led Zhang Chen into the corridor and walked to the door of the last box, which was the largest Elysian box in Daowen Hotel. The supervisor and 2 security guards stood outside the door and did not dare to go in. Wen opened the door, and Zhang Chen rushed in. He saw 4 or 5 men inside, all laughing wildly, and 4 or 5 girls, all huddled on the sofa in the corner of the box. Qian was pressed on the sofa by a man, and there was a man who held Xiao Zhao's shoulder tightly with his right hand and held a glass of wine in his left hand, insisting that Xiao Zhao drink it. Xiao Zhao refused to drink and wanted to hide away. There was a man standing next to him. He pressed Xiao Zhao's head with both hands to prevent her from hiding. Xiao Zhao bit her lips and turned her head to the side. Let her go. Zhang Chen shouted sharply, and everyone in the room was stunned and looked at Zhang Chen and Wen. The man holding Xiao Zhao turned around. Zhang Chen knew him. His name was Hong Ganglu. He was the boss of Hainan Iron and Steel Co., Limited and a famous steel king in Haikan. His company had a monopoly on almost all construction steel in Hainan. Yes, Zhang Chen had dinner with him and had business dealings with him when he was working on the Wanghai Tower project. When Hong Ganglu saw Zhang Chen, he was stunned for a moment, and then laughed, oh, who am I talking about? Isn't this Hai Bassian's little follower? What, do you know her? She is my girlfriend, Zhang Chen said. Your girlfriend? Haha, why did Hai Bassian's horse disappear? It turned out to be abducted by his little follower. Look, Hai Bassian is quite green. Hong Ganglu continued to shout, and several other people in the box laughed. Zhang Chen took 2 steps closer, pointed at Hong Ganglu and said, I want you to let her go. What? This guy Hai Bassian can touch, you can touch, but I, Hong Ganglu, can't touch. Boy, to tell you the truth, I've seen and liked this girl for a long time. At that time, she was following Hai Bassian, and I couldn't help it. Today, haha, since I encountered her, How could I let her go? This forces me, Hong Ganglu, to decide. If you are sensible, get out of here. No, she doesn't work here, Ween Wen shouted. As long as I like her, it doesn't matter if she works here, Hong Ganglu said. Zhang Chen rushed over. The guy holding Xiao Zhao's head next to him was obviously Hong Ganglu's Maze. He stepped forward to stop Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen stretched out his hand to push him away, but he waved his hand and gave Zhang Chen a fist. Zhang Chen fell to the ground. When he fell onto the table. The wine bottles, glasses, fruit plates, and other things on the table clattered with a loud noise. Ween Wen and Xiao Zhao screamed at the same time. The person holding her down was gone and Xiao Zhao could move. She pushed away Hong Ganglu's hand holding the wine glass with her left hand and slapped him with her right hand. Hong Ganglu became angry, grabbed Xiao Zhao's hair, pushed her down on the sofa, stood up, punched Xiao Zhao in the face, and cursed at the same time. You don't know how to appreciate me, how dare you fight me? When Zhang Chen saw Xiao Zhao being beaten, he got up with a roar and continued to rush over there. The Maze and others surrounded him. When Zhang Chen got up, his hand touched the utility knife in his pocket. He usually used the utility knife too skillfully. When he took it out, his thumb slipped, and the blade was exposed from the knife holder. The horseboy reached out to grab Zhang Chen's chest, and Zhang Chen waved his hand. Holy shit, Maze yelled and backed away. He saw a long gash on his arm and blood flowing out. Several other people saw this and stepped back. Zhang Chen rushed over, but Hong Ganglu was still holding Xiao Zhao's head and beating him. Zhang Chen rushed over and slashed his back with so much force that the blade broke. Hong Ganglu's floral shirt slit open to both sides, and his back was instantly wet with blood. He felt a chill on his back and knew it was not good. He heard the screams of other people and seemed to understand something. He pressed Xiao Zhao's hand. The hand loosened. Zhang Chen grabbed his hair and pulled it to the side. Hong Ganglu screamed and fell to the side. Zhang Chen looked at the knife in his hand and saw that it had no blade. He was stunned. Ween Wen shouted loudly, "Brother Zhang Chen, leave quickly." Zhang Chen suddenly woke up. He reached out and pulled Xiao Zhao, and the two ran out of the box. Someone wanted to chase them, but Jian picked up a glass fruit plate on the ground and smashed it into the back of the person's head. Zhang Chen pulled Xiao Zhao and ran to the lobby. From a distance, he saw two people just entering the elevator. The elevator door had been closed. Another elevator was still parked on the first floor. Zhang Chen was holding Xiao Zhao with his right hand and holding one with his left hand. The fire door was opened and the two people ran down the stairs. They rode motorcycles to Yilin's house and returned to the room. Xiao Zhao hugged Zhang Chen and started crying. Zhang Chen couldn't help but get angry when he saw Xiao Zhao's face was black and blue. He told Xiao Zhao, "Don't stay at home, move, I'll go find that bastard again." Zhang Chen ran to the kitchen, and took the kitchen knife. When he ran back, Xiao Zhao chased him out and hugged him. "Let me go, Xiao Zhao, I'm going to chop that bastard into pieces." Xiao Zhao let him go, and Xiao Zhao said, "You want to go, okay, then I will go with you." Zhang Chen saw Xiao Zhao holding a pair of scissors in his hand. "You are at home," Zhang Chen said. "No, if you want to go, go together. I won't let you die alone. If you want to fight hard, go fight together. We will die together." Zhang Chen sighed and softened. "Does it hurt?" Zhang Chen touched Xiao Zhao's face and asked. "It doesn't hurt." Xiao Zhao took the kitchen knife from Zhang Chen's hand and put it on the windowsill. Xiao Zhao pushed Zhang Chen back to the room and sat down on the sofa. Xiao Zhao sat down next to Zhang Chen and hugged him tightly. His whole body was shaking. There was a commotion on the stairs. As soon as Zhang Chen stood up, Lu Ligan ran in the door. When he saw them, he shouted, "Pack your things quickly, they are here. Come here, I'll fight them, Zhang Chen shouted. Xiao Zhao, bring the important things quickly. Lu Ligan ignored Zhang Chen and talked to Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao said oh, stood up, and went to pack his things. Lu Ligan then said to Zhang Chen, who are you fighting with? Those guys are bad guys. You don't even recognize them. Are you worth fighting with them? After Xiao Zhao packed his things, Lu Ligan said, hurry up and leave, otherwise it will be too late. The three of them arrived at the door. Wu Zaiyi had already turned the car around and opened the doors. Lu Ligan pushed Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao into the back seat and sat in the passenger seat. Wu Zaiyi immediately started the car. Before they reached the small street, they saw motorcycles roaring in. Lu Ligan shouted, get down, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao got down. Those motorcycles were rubbing against each other. Their cars passed. Wu Zaiyi looked behind him in the rearview mirror and saw the motorcycle stopped in front of Yilin's house. It's so humming dangerous, it's such a close call. Wu Zaiyi cursed and turned to the left. The car turned onto the small street. There were street stalls on both sides of the small street and there were people on the street. Wu Zaiyi kept honking the horn. The car finally passed by the small street. He looked at it. Before the motorcycles came after him, Wu Zaiyi stepped on the accelerator. How did you know something happened? Zhang Chen asked Lu Ligan. Ah Zhang called me. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 380. Lu Ligan's eldest brother rang. Lu Ligan picked up, it was Cao Qiaoqing. Cao Qiaoqing said, Mr. Lu, my people are here, where can I go to rescue Mr. Zhang? Lu Ligan said, no need, Mr. Zhang is in my car now. Xiao Zhao shouted, Wenwen and Qian, they must be detained in Daowen Hotel by those people. Lu Ligan and Cao Qiaoqing said, Cao, do you know the two girls who live next door to me? Which two girls? Cao Qiaoqing asked. I know, are they Sister Wenwen and Sister Qian? Yilin shouted beside Cao Qiaoqing. Lu Ligan was taken aback and said quickly, Yilin, what are you doing there? Go home quickly. Yilin refused to say anything. He said, what does it mean if I run away from the battle now? I will be laughed at by my junior brothers. Lu Ligan thought for a while and said, Yilin, then you have to promise me that no matter what happens, you will not get involved. You will just watch from a distance and tell you, brother Cao, which two are Wenwen and Qian, just Qian, okay. Yilin said yes. Lu Ligan then told Cao Qiaoqing, go to Daowen Hotel, snatch these two people out, and by the way, protect Yilin. I understand, this guy doesn't need anyone to protect him now, Cao Qiaoqing said, after he is snatched out, where will he be taken? Lu Ligan thought for a while. He first thought of Wei Venfang, but he felt that the place where she lived was too complicated. He hesitated when he thought of a good place. Mr. Lu, are you there? Cao Qiaoqing asked. Zai, you go. Lu Li's heart changed. He couldn't care so much anymore. He told Cao Qiaoqing that after you come out, go to the exit of Datong Road in Hiken Park and I'll have someone take them. Cao Qiaoqing said yes. Lu Ligan hung up the phone and immediately called Lu Yun and told her the matter. Lu Yun asked anxiously, are Zhang Chen and the others okay? It's okay. They escaped. They are in my car now. There are two girls, our neighbors. They helped Zhang Chen and others escape. Those people may cause trouble for them. Where is he? I'll go over there. If it doesn't work, I'll call the police. Is there anything else I can do? Lu Ligan smiled bitterly and said, today is not about calling the police. I guess the police will not ignore it, but they will delay it. Those people behind it are not easy. What should we do? In this case, I have asked people to find a way to get them out. Now go to the exit of Datong Road in Hiken Park. If the little CAO from our company snatches them out, he will take them there. Okay, I understand. Then I'll go over right away and arrange for people to come to my place. Lu Ligan asked curiously, how do you know that I want you to take people away? Am I a pig? Lu Yun scolded, isn't it safe here in a remote area? Anyone looking for two girls will find a golf course. Yes, yes, they may stay for a few days. I know, long-winded. Just after hanging up the phone, Lu Ligan's big brother rang again. Lu Ligan picked up and it was Ajeng. Ajeng asked Lu Ligan, Brother Zhang, have you brought him out? Bring it out. Find a way to get him to leave Hiken. He can't hide in Hiken. Can't you help me? Lu Ligan asked. Now the whole Hiken road has started to move, even Fuken and the old city have started to move. Do you think I can make the decision? Thousands of people are looking for Brother Zhang now. Hong Gangzin has already announced that 3 people will be digging the ground. The ruler will also dig them out. How is that bastard doing now? I don't know. It's still in the hospital. Hong Gangzin is in charge now. He is more ruthless than his brother. In Hiken, no one will not give him face and tell Brother Zhang to leave quickly. Did they call the police? Why call the police? Isn't it a joke that Hong Ganglu needs to call the police after he was stabbed? Do you think they will let Brother Zhang go so easily, pay some medical expenses, and just detain him for a few days? Hong Gangzin said, if Brother Zhang is caught, he will do it himself. Okay, I understand, Ajeng. After hanging up Ajeng's call, their car had already driven downstairs to the Longja building. Li Yong, Chen Qiang, and Meng Ping were already waiting here. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen said, don't get out of the car, just stay in the car. I don't know. There are people in the cars coming and going on the road, so don't be accidentally seen by them. Lu Ligan got out of the car. Li Yong, Chen Qiang, and Meng Ping had already walked over. Zhang Chen rolled down the window. They all asked Zhang Chen if he was okay, and Zhang Chen said he was okay. Roll up the windows quickly. Lu Ligan shouted. Before Zhang Chen could take action, Wu Zaiyi rolled up the rear window and locked it. Li Yong asked Lu Ligan, who did Zhang Chen offend? Hong Ganglu. Haigongs. Lu Ligan nodded, and the others stopped asking. They all knew that today's situation was serious. The 2 brothers Hong Ganglu and Hong Gangzin of Haigong were able to monopolize the steel market in Hiken because they themselves were. It is said that the bosses and financial backers behind several underworld gangs in Hiken are black and white, and those who robbed their business have been dealt with by them. Then Zhang Chen can't stay in Hiken any longer, Li Yong sighed. Let's go, don't hesitate, we will send them off the island immediately, don't suffer this immediate loss, Meng Ping said. Li Yong and Chen Qiang also agreed. Lu Ligan said, I will come down immediately after going up, and we will go to Xiuying port. Lu Ligan went upstairs and entered the office. Chen Ji and the cashier were already waiting for him. Chen Ji and Lu Ligan said that there were only 80,000 yuan in the safe. Lu Ligan said yes, I will complete the procedures tomorrow. Lu Ligan stuffed the money into his backpack and hurriedly went downstairs. When he got downstairs, Lu Ligan said to Meng Ping, drive in front. If there is any problem, just call my mobile phone without saying anything. Meng Ping said yes. Lu Ligan and Li Yong said, you guys follow me, Li Yong said yes. Lu Ligan went back to his car. He told Zhang Chen that you must leave the island at night. Thousands of them are looking for you all night long. If they don't find you, they won't stop for days and nights. Zhang Chen will go back to Yongcheng for the time being. City bar. Zhang Chen looked out the window with straight eyes and remained silent. Xiao Zhao and Lu Ligan said, okay, I will go back to Yongcheng with him. Lu Lepole patted Wu Kai on the shoulder and said, let's go to Xiuying port. He asked Wu Zaiyi to follow Meng Ping's car, keeping a few hundred meters away, and the three cars went to Xiuying port together. The Chinese New Year is about to come, and there are a lot of vehicles going out of the island to go back to their hometown. There is a long queue of cars on Binhai Avenue. There are still 200 or 300 meters away from Xiuying port. Lu Ligan's big brother rang the loud voice, and he picked up. They heard a voice on the phone. Someone asked Meng Ping, "What's your last name?" Meng Ping said, "Meng." "Bring out your ID card and let's take a look." "Who are you, and why should I show you my ID card?" "Just take it if you are told." "Why are you so long-winded?" "If you keep being long-winded, believe it or not, you won't get on the boat today." Meng Ping gave them his ID card, and the other party looked at it and gave it back to him. "Hey, why are you shining your flashlight randomly?" Meng Ping shouted. Someone banged on the trunk and shouted, "Open the trunk." Cao Ziahe opened the trunk, and someone opened and slammed the trunk. Another person swung his flashlight towards the car and cursed, "Idiot, this woman is so old, she must not be, can't you see? Let's go, let's go. Walk." Lu Ligan and Wu Zayawai said that when Wu Zayawai turned to the left, the car came out of the queue and continued to drive along Binhai Avenue. They saw 20 or 30 people standing at the gate of Xiuying port, checking, holding on to every car that comes in. Meng Ping called and asked where Lu Ligan was. Lu Ligan said, "We are on Binhai Avenue. When you exit the port area, turn right and keep driving. We will wait for you in front." Meng Ping said yes. They passed the gate of Xiuying port for 2 or 3 kilometers. Wu Zayawai pulled over and opened the double jump. Li Yong also stopped the car. After a while, Meng Ping arrived, and several people came to the front, Lu Ligan and theirs. "By the car. You can't get out of the island. They will definitely send people to guard the airport tomorrow. Let's go out of the city first." "We will go out of the city for a while and wait and see what happens," Meng Ping said. At that time, the whole of Hainan was inaccessible by car or train to leave the island. The only way was by plane and ship. For flights, there was only one airport in Haikan. There were only car ferries to Haiyan Pier, Xiuying port in Haikan and Qinglan port in Wenchang. There are passenger ships to Bihai and Zhanjiang from Yangpu port in Danzhou. If you can leave the city, there are ways to leave the island from these two places. "Let's go," Chen Qiang said. "Let's leave Haikan first, and then think of a solution after leaving Haikan." "I'm still in front," Meng Ping and Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan said yes. They drove straight along the coastal avenue. From here past Holiday Beach, there was a road leading to the old city. After driving for more than 10 minutes, Lu Ligan's big brother rang loudly, and Meng Ping shouted on the phone, "Turn around, they are blocking this road."